Hey guys, it's Sim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 11th of May 2020 to talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. I do appreciate seeing everybody already in the live chat. And we do got a couple of super chats I do want to read already. This one from Young Tev. He says, I think Charlie made herself famous tonight. How so? Elaborate on that, Young Tev, because I don't get it. She didn't do any, to at least, here's the thing that I'm going to say. At least to me, I feel like she didn't do anything different than she normally does. So, I don't know. Also, Chris McNutt with the super chat donation says, has Seth turned into psychopath being that gimmick? I think so. I think he's kind of like a... and I'll talk about this more when we get to the Seth Rollins stuff. But my theory with the Seth Rollins character change, kind of, I guess you can say, is that he thought that he was going to be able to defeat McIntyre and be the champion. When that didn't happen, it really got to him. It really screwed with his mind. Now maybe he's in the mindset of, am I not as good as I thought I was? And he's just going nuts. Maybe we're going to get a bipolar Seth Rollins. I don't know. But, hey, it is interesting. At least to me, I think it was interesting as far as Seth having a new quote-unquote gimmick or character or whatever you want to say. So with that, let's see who is here with us in the live chat. We do have Soka Skywalker, Kristen McNutt, Eric Tate, Alexis Cavallius, Nico Bellic, Broken King Slender, Derek Bocek, Aiden Bain, the BFG podcast, and so many more of you. BFG Podcast has a good question here. He says, do you think this was the last time we ever see Becky inside of a ring? Not the last time, but you have to... Okay. So this isn't going to be, I don't think, the last time we ever see Becky Lynch in a WWE ring. But here's the thing. This could be the last time that we see her on a full-time schedule. Now, I'm not saying I have any insight, and Becky probably doesn't even know the answer to this question. But there is the possibility that Becky has the baby, that her and Seth have enough money set up, and she just tells WWE, you know what? I'm going to take some years. Not, I'm going to be back in a couple of months after having the baby. I'm going to take some years. Maybe while she's gone, more people are interested in her in Hollywood, and then after she has the baby, she transitions that way. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going to happen with Becky Lynch. Everything is up in the air because, like I stated, she doesn't even know. Trust me. Your mindset before having a child and while you're going through the pregnancy is 1,000,000 trillion times different after that child is born. And not even just after, but every month your mindset's going to change because every month, every week, every day, you're going to learn more and more about being a parent. You're going to grow to love that child more and more and more. And I don't know. Twitter went crazy when she said Orton versus Edge would be the greatest wrestling match. Oh, that. Yeah, I didn't see that. Because soon as the show ended, I basically was off social media getting everything ready to go live and working on other work and stuff. So, yeah, I didn't see what happened over there with social media. But, hey, we'll see. We will see. But let's get in to Monday Night Raw. So, earlier today, so let's back it up a little. Earlier in the day, basically at the exact same time, Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet put up an article, which at the time he thought was exclusive, which technically wasn't, that Becky Lynch tonight on Raw will be making a career announcement, a huge announcement regarding her career. Well, at the exact same time, on Twitter, Fight Oracle, basically just tweeted out saying, Becky Lynch is pregnant. And so we're going through the rest of the day, just like, oh, what's going on? Is Becky really pregnant? Is she going to have to take time off? Is this what she's going to announce? And I thought, there's so much buzz on social media that they were going to hold this off to the end of the show. That this is going to be the main event because everyone's going to want to know what's going on with Becky. Is she really pregnant? Is she not? Because there was that much buzz throughout the day on social media that I felt like this has got to be the final thing to keep the viewers engaged in wanting to know. Not Edge and Orton. Like, I doubt the third hour is going to do a good number because, to be completely honest, I myself, when the third hour started, forgot that Edge and Orton were even supposed to be on the show. I text my buddy and go, is the basketball thing really? I think I tweeted it too. Is the basketball thing the main event? Because at the top of the third hour started that tag team match with Seth and Murphy and Alistar and Ray. And I honestly forgot about Edge and Orton. And I bet you others probably forgot about Edge and Orton. So it's not like they're going to stick around for Edge and Orton. So that's an issue. That's a slight little conundrum that they've got. So going forward, as we start talking about actually tonight's Monday Night Raw. Whoops, hold on one second. There we go. So as we talked about tonight's Monday Night Raw, the show started off with a video package recapping Money in the Bank. They included still shots of Baron Corbin apparently tossing Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio off the top of the building. But we did learn that they only fell about 6 feet because there was a second roof, I guess you could say, a second level, another level of roof under them that caught them, I guess you could say. That broke their fall from falling 10 stories. They only fell 6 feet. Tom Phillips then announced that Edge and Randy Orton would both be here tonight. Byron Saxton noted that Mysterio and Black avoided a catastrophe, landed only 6 feet down on a secondary roof, and, well, they got no time off as they're wrestling tonight against Seth Rollins and Murphy. They also stated that the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross would be here tonight to host a Moment of Bliss with some special guests. Then Becky came out. And Becky comes down with seemingly only the Money in the Bank briefcase. And I'm like, this is weird. Okay. So Becky comes down with the briefcase as she gets in the ring. And you could tell she's crying. Like, she's emotional. And honestly, I start getting emotional. Because I'm like, oh, yeah. Yep. The news was right. She's pregnant. This is it. And she's like, I'm sad, but I'm also feeling joy. She was upset that she's got to take time away, but she's also happy because she's going to become a mom. And so Becky comes down with the briefcase, puts it on a pedestal in the ring, and she's got the shakiest of voices. Like, they just told her, go out there and say what you want to say. Do what you're going to do. She said she was, like I said, torn between joy and sadness because she was at a place in her life where things were about to change and she needed to do something about it. She said that's why she went to the decision makers to raise the stakes of Money in the Bank. And none of the women in the match knew this. Before she continued with that, she recalled first walking through the doors of the Performance Center, not knowing if she was even good enough to be here. She began to cry. She wasn't sure if anyone would care about a loudmouth Irish woman who liked puns and toast. But the fans got behind her and put her on their backs. The fans always stood up for her, and she grabbed onto that when no one else was there for her. The fans deserved to hear this from her, and she said, I have to go away for a while. But that's when I knew the news was real. The news was right. Fight Oracle, you broke it. Asuka's music would then hit. Now, I don't know if Asuka knew what was going to happen here. If Asuka knew that she was going to be given the belt. If Asuka knew I can say with 95% certainty based off her reaction, she probably didn't know that Becky's pregnant. So Asuka comes down pissed off. Basically like, why do you have my briefcase? I want my briefcase kind of deal. And Becky's like, hey. I'm going to explain what happened. Last night, you weren't fighting for an opportunity for a title shot. You were fighting for something else. And she goes, there's a special combination on this lock, on this briefcase that you didn't know. I'm going to open it now. And as she opens it, inside was the Women's Championship. And Asuka's stunned. Like, why is the belt in there? And Lynch goes on to say, and I quote, I can't fight anymore, but you can. You're the champion. Asuka was elated. She grabbed the belt, danced around with it in the ring, ran up the stage, danced on the announce table, even got in Byron's face with her butt a little bit. The announcer's like, get out of here, get off our table. Got it joking around. But they really didn't know what to do or what to say. Because it really felt like nobody knew what Becky's announcement was going to be. So Asuka then got back into the ring. And she kind of looked at Becky like, is there more to this? And Becky's like, you go be a warrior, because I'm going to go be a mother. And Asuka's face, her demeanor changes from, all right, I'm the champ. I got to sell this the Asuka way, to just pure joy. And she's just like, she walks over to Becky. Becky's crying. And you hear Asuka hug her and go, really? Really? And Becky's just like, yeah. And Asuka just starts doing a Becky. She's like, Becky. And I bet you, if that was in a arena with a full 10, 20,000 fans, when she said the line, you go be a warrior, because I'm going to go be a mother, that place would have erupted. Yes, chants all over. Like, that would have been probably one of the greatest, I'm going to say greatest pops you ever hear, with at the exact same time sadness from the fans, because they're ecstatic for Becky and Seth, for them and the announcement and everything. They're so happy, but at the same time you're going to think, I'm so happy right now, but one of my favorites is going to be gone for a while, if not for a very long time. And Becky Lynch is, I guess you could say, made history in a couple of different ways. First woman to win a WrestleMania main event. First woman to win 2 titles in the WrestleMania main event. I think first woman to win 2 titles simultaneously anyways. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Becky Lynch is the first woman to ever relinquish a championship in WWE because she is pregnant. Another history moment for Becky Lynch. I don't, to be honest, even remember the last time that a woman, not the champ, but pushed as a top female in the company, had to go away. Like, there's been women like Maria who got pregnant and had to leave. There's been others, but no one at like top level. So I want to say congratulations to Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Everybody who's making jokes about this, go fuck yourself. I've seen people on Twitter making jokes about it. I've seen all the, they didn't congratulate Seth because they don't know if Seth's the father. Fuck you. Fuck everybody making jokes. Becoming a parent, and I'm going to say right now, those are probably people that are not parents, that have never even thought about being a parent. The people that are making jokes about it. So, I saw something. Alexa says, first Irish-born champion. Woman, yes, not in the company, though. Because Finn had a belt before her. Sheamus had a belt way before her. Just saying. And Forever Atheist, I'm not saying that Maria was ever a big star. I'm just saying she's like the only one that I can think of recently that this happened to. And no one bigger than Maria ever was I can think of that this has happened to. So that's what I'm trying to get at. But again, congratulations to Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch having their first child. I assume Becky's no more than 3-4 weeks pregnant because she wrestled in Mania. And if at all she had a positive pregnancy test, she wouldn't have wrestled one bit. So I assume she didn't know till after Mania. And if not, maybe I'm wrong and she knew a little before and got the okay from her doctor to have one final match. But we'll see. So they show a replay of this, everything that happened. We're in the back and Becky's with Charlie Caruso. Charlie congratulates her. Vegeta Lover, if you ever saw Maria stuff in ROH and Impact, you wouldn't be saying that. Maria, when let to be what she can be, is a great character and is really, really good on the mic when allowed to just go out there and do what she can do. Her stuff in Impact was some of the top stuff at the time in the company, and it was great. Just saying. So in the back, also Rey Mysterio, Natalya, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Bianca Belair, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, Liv Morgan, Kairi Sane, R-Truth, and others congratulated Becky. And it was weird that Kairi was there congratulating Becky because later when she saw Asuka with the belt, she played it off like she didn't know Asuka had the belt and was stunned to see it. So we then get Bobby Lashley versus Humberto Carrillo in an 8 to 9 minute no disqualification match. Lashley grabbed a chair, but Carrillo drop-kicked it into his face early. After what seemed to be long commercial break, they came back and Lashley was in control. They showed what happened before the break, but not during. Carrillo came back with a drop kick and a disaster kick, but Lashley caught him on the outside and drove him face first into the ring post. Phillips called it the steel post, but of course it's actually a video board, so it's not steel because WWE don't use them steel boards or steel posts. Lashley tried using the chair, but Carrillo ducked, grabbed the chair, and hit Lashley with it several times instead. Carrillo tried a springboard move, but Lashley caught him and applied a full Nelson for a submission victory. So like I said, 8-9 minute match. Wasn't bad. Then we get word that it looks like the Street Profits were going to challenge the Viking Raiders to a basketball game later on tonight. And the Viking Raiders did the whole, we can do anything, you can do better kind of old deal. What? Forever Atheist? No. Maria was a million times better than Christy Hemme ever could even imagine to be. I've never liked Christy Hemme and her work. I always thought she was not that great. But if you see Maria's stuff in Impact, when she was with like Laurel Van Ness, now Chelsea Green, and Allie and stuff, that was some good shit. That was some good shit. Yes, Sinclair Saturday, I have. I think I mentioned it on Twitter over the weekend. I could be wrong, but I think I did. So in the back, Ford and Hawkins hyped up themselves for this basketball game. Ford said they would be like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Dawkins said, nah, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And Ford was like, oh, we're not going to get into that Jordan-LeBron debate. They then said that they were going to be like NBA Jam on fire. Elsewhere, Ivar was annoyed that Eric said that they can do anything the Street Profits could and put them in this predicament. Eric said the Profits could have challenged them to something cool instead, like sword fighting, axe throwing, or people tossing. The announcers confirmed that later on tonight, we're going to get a basketball game. Charlie Caruso then interviewed Asuka who was still soaking in becoming the new Raw Women's Champion after winning Money in the Bank. Kairi Sane then jumps into frame, and she was like, "Oh, the belt? No way! You got the belt!" And they celebrated. It was a funny moment. And then recapped Edge vs. Orton from WrestleMania. Angel Garza and Andrade argued with Austin Theory in the back with Zelina Vega as she tried to calm them all down. So they built this team up, this trio. And now they're just going to break them up already? Like, it's not even been a month and a half. So we then got Angel Garza versus Akira Tozawa. The match started during a break with no entrances or anything, which is very weird. Saxton said Tozawa has had a career resurgence on NXT, which is funny because he's been getting jobbed out on Raw. Saxton didn't say that. I said that. Garza beat him very quickly with a wing clipper. The whole time Garza was talking shit to Austin Theory about how much better he is. Which it's like, really? Really? Drew McIntyre would then interrupt. He came down, said he was worried they weren't getting along, and offered them a fight against him. He said, "Come on, bring it, bitches." He wiped out Theory with a Claymore kick, which amused Andrade and Garza, and then, he attacked Garza and hit him with a Claymore kick. Actually kicked him so hard that Garza went flying over the top rope. Andrade then got in his face, and he's like, "You want to fight me?" McIntyre's like, "Let's get a ref down here right now. Let's do this." And I'm like, "Oh, not again. We just saw this a couple weeks ago. We don't need to bury the United States champion twice. You don't gotta tell everybody the WWE champion's up here. The U.S. champion's way down here. Insignificant to the WWE champion." Like, you don't got to tell us all that. That's no. So we ended up getting an 8.5-minute match. Drew McIntyre versus Andrade. Champion versus champion. And there was no need for this. There really was no need for this match, to be completely honest. The announcers were excited at the prospect of a champion versus champion match. It's like, y'all just saw this recently. Why are you excited? You know it's going to happen. And the funny thing is they never acknowledged that the match happened previously. Andrade worked over the arm, and Saxton did acknowledge that they had a feud dating back to NXT. And that McIntyre's arm was injured in a match with Andrade in NXT. McIntyre fought back and had a sit-out powerbomb for a 2. Andrade went back after the arm and nailed a running double knee strike in the corner for a 1. They traded chops, and Andrade hit a back elbow. Then McIntyre hit a headbutt. McIntyre followed this up with the reverse Alabama slam and a Claymore kick for the victory. The match was a good back-and-forth contest. I felt like Andrade got a little more than he did in the last match, but it was still like, why do you got to do this to your U.S. champ? You're really making your U.S. champ just seem like a joke. That's how it came off. Like, oh yeah, we got a WWE champion. Oh yeah, we got a secondary champion, and his name's Andrade. But you don't have to worry about him because he's not as good as the WWE champion. He's insignificant. So then, after the match, McIntyre grabbed a mic and said that he didn't necessarily come out here to fight, but he shows up to work ready to fight just in case because, well, you never know what's going to happen. Plus, he was happy that he got to do a Claymore party. You know where they got that from. McIntyre said Rollins gave him a hell of a fight last night at Money in the Bank. McIntyre acknowledged that there was going to be a brand-to-brand invitational. McIntyre said Raw invited a SmackDown superstar to come to a Monday Night Raw, and he said that certain superstar wants to fight him. He said, I'll give you some clues on who this is. It's somebody that nobody likes. Everybody hates. He said, I'm also familiar with this person because they've spent a lot of time together. He then stated that next week, right here on Monday Night Raw, I will be going up against King Corbin. McIntyre seemed excited for this. He said that he was proud of Corbin for stepping up. He also promised to have a Claymore fit for a king. We also did learn that on Friday Night SmackDown this week, we got a video stating that Miz will hold a special Miz TV with special guest Otis. They made it seem like he has his eyes set on Braun Strowman already, because they basically said with Otis winning Money in the Bank, he has now got his sights set on the Universal Champion. They also stated that NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair will be appearing on SmackDown for the first time in over a year. They plugged the Undertaker special, which is great. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. I mean, I say everybody should go watch The Last Ride. Backstage, MVP encouraged Lashley to stay angry and focused. He was also impressed with his full Nelson. MVP had respect for Caruso, but wondered why Lashley was worried about fighting guys like that, especially when someone from SmackDown was coming over here to face the WWE Champion, when Bobby should be the one facing the champion of Raw. He said, do you even remember the last time you fought for the WWE Championship? I do. It was 2007, when I was just getting my start here. He said that was 13 years ago. Now look where they are. MVP advised him to think about these words. MVP started making his way through the back as he said he had to go get ready for a match when he bumped into Lana. He told her that if Lashley wanted a way out, come find him. Lana then got irritated and screamed at him. Yeah, whatever. We then got a moment of Bliss. Bliss noted how crazy it was that the man was about to become a mother, and made and that Becky's announcement came one day after Mother's Day. Both Becky and Nikki said they were happy for her. Not Becky, Alexa and Nikki said they were happy for Becky. So they're sitting there and they're talking about how they're the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and technically the Women's Tag Team Champions are allowed to go between brands, go to both brands, and they felt like, hey, it's finally the right time to bring a little bit of a moment of bliss to the Raw audience. And then they were interrupted by the Iconics, the returning Iconics, who we haven't seen in well over 6 months, I believe. They came out and said that Bliss and Cross must have forgotten about them. Bliss said they didn't forget about them and told them to not get their panties in a bunch. Bliss didn't think that was funny, and that a baby almost stole their thunder. Peyton Royce said, the Jinder Jr. can't steal my spotlight. They wondered what the big deal was about having a baby, and Nikki Cross, she still acts like a baby anyways. Peyton Royce then challenged them to a title match. Cross said that you got upstaged by something the size of a jelly bean, and said they don't deserve a title match. The Iconics said, okay, it doesn't have to be a title match then. They're going to prove that they're motivated and that they deserve a shot. So Bliss and Cross appeared to accept their non-title challenge, and Cross began clearing the furniture in the ring. We then got a 5.5-minute match with the Women's Tag Team Champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross against the Iconics Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. The Iconics worked over Nikki Cross until Bliss made a hot tag. Royce broke up a cover attempt, so Cross attacked her. Royce sent Cross to the outside, and the referee was distracted here. Billie Kay jabbed Alexa Bliss in the throat. Royce and Kay gave Bliss a double-team face bust. Run in by my Amazon Echo. Anyways, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay got a new double-team finisher. Some cool-looking face buster into a pin. And they picked up the victory. They defeated the Women's Tag Team Champions. Samoa Joe announced that they were the new champs. Tom Phillips said, hey, don't get ahead of yourself there. And Joe goes, they should be. They beat the champs. That was pretty funny. So in the back, Charlie Caruso interviewed Rey Mysterio. She asked him how he felt after last night, and he said, "Well, I feel great." Mysterio admitted that he felt his life flash before his eyes, but then a miracle happened after Corbin tossed him off the roof and he landed only 6 feet down. He said, right at that moment, he felt like it was time for him to get back into this match, and then all of a sudden, down comes Alistar Black, landing right next to him, and then he realized, crap, well, it's too late. Otis just won. Rollins then would walk in, basically comatose, like a zombie, hair all nuts and everything, and Ray goes, "Hey, I want to say congratulations." And Seth just looks at him. Ray's like, "Being a father is going to change your life. I'm happy for you, you and Becky." Mysterio offered him a handshake, and Seth just walked off without saying anything. Ray looks at Charlie and kind of muddles under his throat or under his breath and just goes, "What a dick." So then we got a 6-man tag team match. Match went about 4.5 minutes. It was Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and R-Truth against MVP Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink. There was a segment that aired right before this where Truth said that he's going to be Pretty Ricky, and he spun around 360, and then when he spun back around, he had freaking Austin Powers teeth in. So the match started off here, and Thorne and Vink held Alexander on the outside. Then Ricochet wiped them all out with a moonsault. MVP punched Truth. Then Truth went down and handed his fake teeth to the referee. The ref was disgusted because these were just in MVP's mouth. Or not MVP's mouth, Truth's mouth. MVP was distracted by all this as well, and it allowed Truth to hit a reverse STO and pick up the victory. I don't understand why this match needed to happen. Oh, wait. So Lashley can come out and beat up R-Truth. There was no need for this whatsoever. After the match, Lashley came out and speared R-Truth. MVP told him to hold him. I want to speak to him, and he booted him in the gut. They knocked down Truth and just left him there. It was like, why did we need this? What was the reason for this? Oh, yeah, no reason for this. It was kind of dumb. I guess, I don't know if MVP's building a stable and he wants Lashley, but he's trying to recruit Bobby Lashley for something. I'm going to say that. So Charlie Caruso interviewed Jinder Mahal, who was honored to be back on Monday Night Raw after being gone for 10 months. He said he was happy that his old friend Drew McIntyre has found success and has become WWE champion. Mahal said himself deserved to be loved and respected like Drew. He was on a new path to redeem himself and learn from his mistakes. His journey to the top would be a hero's journey. So I don't know if he's a heel or a babyface, because it gave, like you would think, it's Jinder Mahal. He's got to be a heel, right? But then at the same time, he kind of gave slight babyface vibes to me. Like, hey, I want to work my way back up the ladder, and I'm going to do it amicably. Or amicably. I'm going to do it the right way. So, we'll see. We'll see what they do with old Jinder Mahal. So then they said we're going to get a special look at the Undertaker Last Ride series. AJ Styles pulled up a chair, popcorn in hand, as they showed it. Charlie Caruso then went up to Shayna Baszler in the back. Charlie Caruso all over this goddamn show. Like, all over. Charlie asked Shayna, hey, what is your reaction to Becky Lynch's announcement? And Shayna was the one to say it. I was glad somebody said it. Like, in storyline, this had to be said. She said she wondered how stupid you have to be to get knocked up while being the champion. She said 10 out of 10 mothers will try to convince you that having a kid didn't ruin their careers. Lynch was the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion and was throwing it all away to house some parasite. Baszler made jokes about Lynch getting fat. She concluded with, "The kid's going to suck. You know who the father is. I rest my case." I didn't really get the jab at Seth there. Wasn't sure about that. Like, if you guys want to explain that to me, I don't know. Maybe that Seth couldn't get the job done at Money in the Bank kind of jab. I don't know. I didn't really get that. But Shayna killed it in that when she was just like, yeah, how stupid you got to be to get knocked up while you're the champion. They then air clips from the Undertaker special, which may have been just the video intro from the show itself, I think. They cut back to AJ, who was pissed for some reason, and he threw his popcorn. Okay. So next up, we got at the top of the third hour, Rey Mysterio and Alistar Black against Seth Rollins and Murphy. This match went 11 minutes. Murphy went for tags multiple times, but Rollins just wasn't paying attention. Rollins was like a zombie standing on the apron, and basically this was a handicap match. Rollins wasn't deliberately, I guess you could say, ignoring Murphy. He was just in his own world. Black got in his face, and Rollins looked at him briefly before looking away. Murphy fended off an attack and kicked Black's head into the post. After a commercial break, Black came back with a boot before tagging in Mysterio, who had a seated senton, springboard crossbody, kick to the head, and a leg scissor takedown from the apron, sending Murphy into the barricade. Mysterio tried a flying high crossbody, but Murphy reversed it into a roll-up for a 2. Then, Mysterio countered a Murphy's Law into a bulldog for a 2. Mysterio was in the corner and elbowed Rollins in the gut, which is actually kind of funny. Mysterio went for a 619 on Murphy, but Rollins caught him and yanked him out of the ring. The referee then called for the bell, presumably a disqualification here, which would be amongst the dumbest disqualifications I've ever seen. Yes, I get it. The partner on the outside is not supposed to interfere until they're tagged in. But why would this be a DQ? Like, it was kind of dumb. Give me 1 second. I need to... let me check something really fast. I'm waiting on a message. On something from Raw. Okay, that wasn't it. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that. All right, so dumbest DQ. Because we've seen in the past, like, Ray go for the 619, and the partner on the outside put themselves in the way and take the 619. What's the difference? That wouldn't have been a DQ. So Rollins tossed Mysterio into the barricade, poked him in the eye, then punched him in the eye, which was an issue for Mysterio in a match a few weeks ago, actually. Murphy also took down Black. Murphy was about to go after Mysterio, and Rollins stopped him and just said, "Get back. You get back." Like, he got in Murphy's face and was like, "No, I got this." Rollins began getting enraged. I wrote that wrong. And drove Mysterio face first into the steps, driving his eye into the corner of the steel steps. Rollins eventually let go, and there was a drop of blood on the steps. Officials ran down and tended to Mysterio, who sold this huge. Rollins slowly walked away. So after the break, we see Mysterio being tended to in the trainer's room with Black there with him, and there was a good-looking cut or something or other, but a lot of blood under the eye of Rey Mysterio. They had the mask off, but they still did a good job covering his face here. Rollins and Murphy would walk in. So the trainers, and they were like, get back. And they took Rey out of here because they were like, we don't know what's going to happen. Rollins said that, I'm just here, I want to check on Rey. And told Black, I honestly don't know what happened out there. I don't know. And so Black went crazy on Murphy because he was just the closer one. As they brawled, the officials separated everybody. And yeah. So are we getting a bipolar split personality Seth Rollins now, where at one point he's just going to be comatose, and then another point he's going to snap and be super sadistic, and then another point he's going to be like, what did I do? Why did I do that? What happened? I don't know. I'm gonna give it time to play out because this is only the first time we've seen this. So I'm not gonna say it's crap yet, but it could be bad. But I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and wait a week or two and see where this develops to. So Street Profits practiced playing basketball as the Viking Raiders watched on. When it was the Viking Raiders' turn, they attempted an alley-oop, but Ivar's pass hit the roof. Ford and Dawkins were very amused. Then we got a 2-on-2 basketball game. Street Profits, 74. Viking Raiders, 2. Ford said there were 4 5-minute quarters. Street Profits got off to an early 2-0 lead. After Ivar passed the ball right back to Dawkins, he didn't know how to check the ball. Street Profits led 21-0 after the first quarter, 37-0 at the half, and 55-0 after 3 quarters. The Raiders finally scored in the final quarter at the buzzer, and they assumed they won. They celebrated big until the Profits alerted them, hey, no, you didn't win. It's 74-2. Anytime you could see the scoreboard in the background, it was blank, which was weird. You could only see the score when they showed the scoreboard itself. They said, you guys got more fouls than you did points. It was like 19 fouls on the board. Then we go to the back, and Natty approaches Shayna Baszler and says, do you know how bad it makes you look to disrespect the miracle that is motherhood? Baszler literally looks Natty right in the face and goes, what do you know about being a mother? You're never going to have a kid. Baszler then said, the Hart Dynasty will die with you. Natty got offended and said, all right, we'll see what happens in the ring in our match. Shayna killing it. 2 different promos. Killed it. Back at the basketball court, Viking Raiders told the Street Profits, oh, hey, yeah, 72-4, we let you win. And they were like, yeah, okay. And then Eric was like, Ivar, show him. So they do a montage of Ivar just draining shots. Swish after swish after swish. Just hitting shots and hitting shots and hitting shots. Finished off, Ivar finished it with a dunk. And Ford and Dawkins were completely stunned. Next up, we got Shayna Baszler against Natalya in a 3 to 4 minute match. Natalya avoided getting her elbow stomped, but Baszler followed up with a knee strike to the face and pinned her. Natalya had a tantrum after the match, and Shayna was like, hey, I told you I'm better. Told you, you suck. And Shayna walked off, and Natty was none too happy to take the loss. Then, Charlie Caruso in the back interviewed SmackDown's King Corbin. He told her that he proved that he was willing to do whatever it took last night at Money in the Bank. He also said Mysterio and Black were lucky that secondary roof was there. She asked if he had what it took to take on McIntyre. Corbin said, well, of course. Brock Lesnar didn't make McIntyre the champion that he is today. Corbin did. That all by himself by taking McIntyre under his wing. Corbin would show the world why he is the king and what makes him the king. So then, go to our main event segment. Our main event segment, of course, was the Edge Randy Orton stuff. And like I said earlier, I forgot that this was even going to happen once we got to the 3rd hour. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about our sponsor. Sponsor, Manscaped. Flowers are blooming. The grass is grooming. And it's time to mow your lawn. Thanks to our sponsor, Manscaped, you can trim the hedges below the belt safely and efficiently. I'm talking about ball trimmers. Manscaped is here to make sure your balls are smooth and smelling nice. After all, it's time for some spring cleaning. Like I always say, not only do you got to trim it up down there to make it look good, but eventually if you get too much hair down there, then it's going to get musty and it's going to smell and it's not going to be very hygienically safe. Plus, if you use a Manscaped trimmer, there's basically no chance of hurting yourself. Because trust me, I've nicked myself with just a regular blade before, a regular razor. not fun. I've used the Manscaped trimmer. Smooth, easy, quick. But Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming. They have forever changed the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. Precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the essential Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof, cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine. This third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. Inside the Perfect Package, you'll also find the Manscaped Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. It's starting to get hot outside, and this is crucial so your balls don't stick to your leg. And as our treat, you'll find the Crop Reviver, which will keep your balls smelling fresh, just like spring flowers. Subscribe to the Perfect Package and get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months. Make sure your trimmer always stays hygienic and clean. For a limited time, subscribers also get 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, a $39 value, and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Ball Boxer Briefs. And the briefs, I'm going to tell you right now, I've worn them. Whew, they're very comfy. This is the Perfect Package, well, for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code PWUnlimited at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tool for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping when you use the code PWUnlimited at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the code PWUnlimited. It's spring cleaning, baby, and your balls will thank you. Also, this isn't just for men. They say it is the men's brand dedicated to below-the-belt waist grooming, but I know females who also have a Manscaped that they use to trim up down there. I even know a female that bought a Manscaped to shave her legs because she says it's easier than using a razor. Just saying. So back to Raw. Edge comes down. Edge said he didn't live in a world of what-ifs. And after the Royal Rumble, he decided he wanted to end his career on his own terms. He thought about what's next. Edge saw the promo last week advertising him hunting Randy Orton. He said that was news to him because he never said he was coming to hunt Randy Orton. He said he got a pound of flesh at WrestleMania and was ready to move on. Orton then interrupted. Orton had one thing to say to him, and he said, "Congratulations. At WrestleMania, you were the better man." No. He said, at WrestleMania, the better man won. That's what it was. Orton's music hit, and he began to leave. However, Orton got about halfway up the ramp and stopped himself and came back down. He laughed, he chuckled, and said, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. It was true that you were the better man at WrestleMania. But Orton said that the better wrestler didn't win. Orton claimed that Edge hid behind 29 other men in the Royal Rumble, making his return. Then won a last man standing match at WrestleMania, a match that Edge chose. Orton didn't get up at the 10 count, but it also didn't take him 9 years to get back to his feet. In Orton's opinion, the match at Rumble and Mania weren't exactly traditional wrestling matches. Orton noted that it's been a long time since Edge actually laced up his boots for a real match. He didn't think Edge had what it took anymore. Orton noted the look of doubt in Edge's eyes. All of his grit and passion didn't compare to Orton's natural ability, nor will it knock off the ring rust. His grit and passion wouldn't help him now. Orton recalled Edge once saying that he was one of the best ever and a future Hall of Famer. Orton said this story writes itself. If Edge has the guts, he'd face him straight up in a wrestling match at Backlash. Caruso asked Edge for a response, but he didn't say anything. Caruso then said, if this match happens, it could be the greatest wrestling match ever. Orton stared at Edge, who appeared to be showing some doubt as the show went off the air. So, it looks like in a straight-up wrestling match, Edge versus Orton in Backlash. Edge didn't accept, so technically the match is not official. But that looks like the way it's going to happen. So with that, that was Monday Night Raw. If I had to give it a rating, I actually thought it was one of the better Raws we've seen since they started doing them in the PC, and I would give it a 7 to 7.5, to be honest. I actually enjoyed most of the show. I thought most of this was, to me, a good portion of tonight's show felt fresh and new, and that's what we've needed. I mean, I don't want to say good portion, maybe like 50%, half of it. But I felt like the show itself was not bad. I mean, yeah, it could have been better, but any wrestling show can be better. I don't remember the last time I saw a wrestling show where I go, God damn, they couldn't have done better. I don't remember. But I do have some text messages here that I want to read. Person says, who do you think is going to be the first challenger for Asuka's Women's Championship? And also a Backlash. Do you think Edge and Orton will face off? What kind of match do you think? Well, first off, it's not going to be a what kind of match. It's going to be Edge versus Orton in a straight-up singles match. As far as Asuka's first opponent, that's going to be tough. I may say Shayna. Just saying. This person says, when do you think we're getting Apollo Crews' heel turn and will be part of the MVP's new stable? No clue. They got to sell that knee injury. This person says, Tim, you think WWE will do Extreme Rules like Mania, do the matches in different locations? I don't know, but Extreme Rules was set for July, so we'll see if that does get announced. I assume maybe we just get a PC show. This person says, hey, Tim, did you enjoy The Undertaker Last Ride Chapter 1, and what are your thoughts so far? I said it before. I loved it. I thought it was great. What Chapter 1 is what they made it out to feel like the whole thing was going to be, all 5 parts. So now we know that all 5 parts are not just him going into that match at WrestleMania 33 with Roman. It's starting there, and I assume going all the way to this year's WrestleMania. I thought the first episode was really good, and from what I've heard from people that have seen little things from different episodes, little clips and stuff, it's only going to get better. But with that, I do want to thank everybody for joining me here to talk about Monday Night Raw. I appreciate everybody joining me, being in the live chat, being here later watching on YouTube. And if you can, I'd appreciate if you hit that follow button. Subscribe here on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Also, I want to say follow us on Instagram. Just search Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Follow us on Twitter at PWU Unlimited. You can also follow me on Twitter at TimmyBuddy. And you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. So with that, have a great night, guys, and I'll see you next time.